Hey and welcome. I'm Lidia Rodriguez and this is Small Biz Spotlight 210. Thank you so much for joining me again. And if you're new to me, what I'm trying to do with this channel is exactly what it says in the title, is to put a spotlight on some small businesses here in San Antonio. So please stay till the end of this video because I do have some information for all of y'all that I would like to share, and also for the information for the next video. All right, so with that, if you know anybody that has a small business or may be interested in being on my YouTube channel, please give them my email. It's smallbizspotlight210@gmail.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and introduce you to Linda with Creating Quantum Solutions.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Great.
Nice to be here.
Great. I'm glad to have you because tax season is creeping up on us.
Oh, yes, it is. It definitely is.
So can you go ahead and give us your full introduction, name, family, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, Lydia, thank you for inviting me. I enjoy being here, and I enjoy just spreading awareness about what I do. And of course, if anybody needs my services, I will be providing that information during this interview. But my name is Linda Medina. I am owner of Creating Quantum Solutions. And what I specialize in is credit education and repair, tax preparation, and LLC formation.
Oh.
So I have just a little bit of background. I've been in the corporate compliance space for over 15 years. And during that time, I worked for a debt collection agency.
Ooh.
It's a debt collection and credit reporting agency. I went from the bottom of being an analyst to becoming a compliance director. And what that means is I had to oversee how they did the things they did and made sure they followed the rules and what they were supposed to do as a debt collection and credit reporting company, which in turn is how I learned a lot of information that I'm teaching now with my small business. And I will say that during that time when I started, I did not know anything about how credit worked, or at least I thought I knew how it worked. Mm-hmm. And it turned out I really didn't know how it worked. And it was so much information that motivated me to want to help others. And during that time, I would help family, I would help friends, and they would tell me how they were seeing results with their credit. Mm-hmm. In which, again, after some time, I decided to start my own business. And tax preparation is something that I have done as well. I did my first tax return when I was 16.
Wow.
Years old. And it was during the time that we had the paper forms and you had to fill it out and mail it in.
Back in the day.
Yeah, so I used to help my mom with completing those tax forms. And for me growing up, education wasn't a really big thing. It was mostly working. Mm-hmm. So if you came from a background like that, you totally understand, but work was more of a priority than taking the time to get a good education. But for me, I wanted to take a different route and actually learn and do things that I never thought I could do, because honestly, the background I came from, I didn't think I was capable of a lot of things. I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was capable of a lot of things. So mm-hmm. I worked very hard to accomplish where I am today.
You've come a long way, baby.
Yes. And then the LLC formation side of it, well, again, the company I work for, being a director there, I oversaw the licensing for the debt collection licenses of all 50 states and their requirements. So each state requires some type of annual reporting requirements, business license renewals. Some states had new requirements where they required certain licenses and reporting. So I had to keep up with all of that and make sure we were compliant with all of that reporting. So that gave me the knowledge of working with the different states and their requirements and how they work. So I was very familiar with that. So now what I do especially for Women Unlimited members, is anyone that wants to establish their LLC, or they have questions on, well, mm-hmm. what's a DBA, what's an LLC, or even if they even if they want to open up a bank account and they want to know what are the requirements to open a bank account, because it's
Right.
not so much as here's your driver's license. There's specific
Right, it's a
documents.
whole different
Yes.
animal. A
Yes.
whole, and believe me, if anybody's interested in all of that, it's a lot of information. Don't let that stop you. Reach out, especially to Linda. Now that we know that she'll help you with all of that, because definitely you need somebody to guide you.
Yeah,
through all of that.
and I'm also helping someone right now convert their entity from one state to the state of Texas.
Ooh.
And there's a little bit of like you really have to understand what you're doing, because you can, if you move states, you can still do business in that state if you want to and move your main jurisdiction to Texas, or you can dissolve your business in one state, but first you want to make sure that it's established in Texas, and you can move that history over, or you can start brand new. So there's a few options there. It's not cut and dry, but I can guide you through that. I can advise you through that and teach you how to do it yourself, or if you want me to do it, I can definitely do that for you. That's where my services come in.
Yeah. Okay, but let's backtrack through all of that. Are you
From San
from
Antonio?
San Antonio?
Yes,
And raised
yes,
in
I'm born and raised in San Antonio. I've been here all my life. I really haven't been anywhere else. When people ask me, I'm like, I'm kind of boring. I'm from here.
San Antonio's not boring. Born and raised in San Antonio myself. Okay, so high school and everything, was math one of your good subjects? Did you like math?
Actually, I did like math. Math and chemistry were my favorite subjects, because I really liked having these problems. And I want to say particularly like algebra or things like that. I didn't like the math with all the graphs and things. I did not like that one bit. But I got I guess I got excited out of working those long problems and solving them.
Oh.
And it was that feeling of doing that kept me wanting to do more problems.
The solving.
Yes, the solving of the problems. And then chemistry, whenever I would have formulas that I needed to solve or combine, I really enjoyed doing that. I loved breaking it down. I loved figuring out the problems.
So, like you said, you just started working, so you didn't go to an actual school to learn taxes and all of that. You learned by experience?
Yeah, experience. So, like I said, I did my first tax return when I was about 16 or 17. And the IRS provides a lot of information, and I'm just one of those people that I'm very resourceful. I do a lot of research.
I mean, this stacks like this, and it seems like every year something changes.
There's thousands and thousands of pages. Now, I did, after I graduated high school, which was a journey in itself, I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice from UTSA.
Oh.
And then I went on to get my master's degree from Our Lady of the Lake. And then a couple years ago, I got a second master's degree from St. Mary's School of Law, Master of Jurisprudence.
Wow.
It's a new program that they have where you don't have to go the full 5-6 years to be an attorney or get the JD like what attorneys have. It's a tailored program, and the program I did was for compliance, risk, and business law. And I did that because the company I was working for, I also handled a lot of the complaints, the legal complaints that we would get. So I was a liaison between the attorneys, and whenever there was settlements and lawsuits, I did that.
Wow, Linda.
So all that experience.
For someone who thought that they weren't smart enough or worthy enough, girl, you got the initials at the end of your name.
You know what? That's why I love a lot of my clients. They are like, I see myself in them, and I really try to pull them out and say, you can do this. Because at the same time, I used to be a single mom. I got a divorce that left me $30,000 in credit card debt. I had to get out of that. I almost lost my house. There were so many things that I went through, but I managed to find a way on my own. And a lot of things in life for me have been on my own, having to figure I don't have a big family. I don't have a lot of support or people just wanting to help me. Like, it's just me, trying to figure out things for me. Now I have a supportive husband, a new husband, and we have a 2-year-old, and I have 2 teenagers, 16 and 17. So there's a huge age gap, but it's been very supportive. He's been very supportive and on this journey with me.
A good support system. Yeah. I'm so happy to hear that.
But a lot of that experience came from everything I do and how I continue to stay on top. Being in the compliance space, my job is to stay on top of changing rules. So it only fits. And then I haven't told a lot of people this, but now everybody's going to know. In the background, I actually just started working on my CPA license. So I'm actually taking those requirements to sit for the exam. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So
yes, we'll be rooting for you. Yes, absolutely. That's amazing. On top of all the education you already have, to have this on top, it's just like the cherry on top.
Right.
Of what you're doing here.
Yeah, and it's for me. I feel like anybody can do anything with determination, discipline, and whatever it is they want to do. But education for me has been a big deal because no one in my family had a high school diploma or college degree. And that has to do a lot of why I didn't think I could get it, because nobody would ever talk about finishing
what's
school.
next.
Yeah. Everybody always talked about, well, you just got to work and get a job and work until you're like 60 or 70.
Well, a lot of us coming out of high school have absolutely no idea what a credit report is, how important it is, or the importance of starting the credit. What is a good way for someone to start one's credit?
Well, the first thing you want to do is look at what your credit report has, what information is on your credit report, and there's several free ways of doing that. One of the main ones that is is announced a lot is the annualcreditreport.com website. So with annualcreditreport.com, you're entitled to pull your credit report for free. It used to be where you can do it every year and check it, which you want to be checking it. But now, ever since COVID hit, changed it up where you can pull it more free periodically. The only thing is that you have to pull each one. There's 3 major bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Yeah. And you have to pull each one to look at what each one has, because companies don't always report to all 3 bureaus. They might report to 2, they might report to 1, and they're not always required to report to all 3. So you want to make sure that the information that's on those reports are accurate and that they do belong to you.
Is there one that's better than the other?
I wouldn't say there's one better than the other. They all contain information. A lot of them that I see that is used more frequently is TransUnion. Sometimes that'll have more information than the other 2. Sometimes Experian might have information than the other 2. But you want to look at all 3 and see what's on there and make sure that the information on there belongs to you. If you have old information, old addresses, old names, you want to clean that up. There's a dispute process that you can do. When you go into annualcreditreport.com and you pull your reports from the bureaus, you have the option to let them know if there's information that doesn't belong to you, or there's information that's outdated. You have a right to get all that old information removed. And if there's something questionable, you have a right to dispute that too. There's a lot of consumer laws that is on credit reporting that the credit bureaus have to follow. And anytime you dispute an item because you don't feel it belongs to you, it triggers them to investigate and provide you with a response. So the best place to start is looking at your credit report. And if you have a credit card, a lot of credit card companies, they offer free credit scores, free reports. But normally it might be with just one bureau, but you can look at it that way. And then a lot of people also use free monitoring services like Credit Karma, Credit Sesame. They use those as well, but those don't give all 3 bureaus. I want to say Credit Karma gives TransUnion and Equifax information.
Correct.
But there's also different scoring models. Your scores are not going to be the same. I mean, there's just so much.
Right. That's how come I asked, like, is there one better than the other?
Oh, okay.
Because when I go onto mine, it gives me, but they're different numbers. And I'm like, which one do I listen to?
what you're talking about there is scoring models. So there's different scoring models. There's the FICO score, there's the Vantage score, and then there's multiple FICO scores, and then there's multiple Vantage scores. So you are going to see a variation of numbers, but if you're looking, depending on what you're applying for, mortgage companies use FICO scores, and they use a certain level, a certain model of FICO scoring. And then your auto dealers might use a different FICO score. But the FICO score is going to be your most accurate, and myfico.com is where you can find your FICO scores. Now, they do charge a service fee if you want all three. But if you want to see what at least it looks like and where you're at, just to get an idea, they have a free option through Equifax. You can sign up for a free MyFICO account, and they'll give you your Equifax report and your FICO score.
Okay. So what are some of the frequent mistakes that people make regarding their credit?
One of the frequent mistakes that I see often is when people max out their credit card and they make the minimum payment, and they're wondering, well, why is my credit still low? Why is my credit not going up if I'm making the payments on it? I'm paying on time. I haven't missed a payment. And the reason is because if you continue to keep your card at a max level, then there's certain factors that contribute to your score. And one of those factors is your usage. So if you have a $500 credit limit credit card and you use up $499, it's going to have an impact on your score, and that impact is 30% of your score.
Wow.
So that's a big, your payment history is 35% of your score, and your usage is 30% of your score. So 65% of your score has to do with, are you making payments on time, and how much are you using? Are you using it responsibly? Are you keeping an ongoing high amount of usage on it, or is it paid off and you're using it here and there?
Because what I recently learned is that you don't have to use your credit card in order to get a credit report. Like, just having an account open helps.
You can have an account open, but if you don't have any activity on that account for quite some time, and it depends on the company, they can end up closing your account. So you want to be able to use your account. And what I tell people is, when you have those major credit cards, use them like your debit card. But sometimes people have the problem of going back and paying it. Like, with the debit card, you use it, it comes out of your bank.
Right.
With the credit card, you got to make sure you pay what you use immediately. Now, sometimes people do it the same day at the end of the day. Sometimes they do it at the end of the week, or sometimes they schedule it before the end of the month. And normally, what you want to do is pay it before, if you're going to pay it at the end of the month, pay it before your statement due date, because anything after that is what's going to be reported on your credit report. So if you max out your card and you pay it before the statement due date, if your card is $500, you max it out, but you pay that $500 before the statement due date, then zero will be reported on your credit report. So you can max it out, you just want to pay it off before the due date. Or if you pay half or 80% of it, that 20% will be reported on your credit report.
Okay, good. That was going to be my next question. So, because like sometimes you use a credit card because you don't have the money right then and there. So when you don't have to wait for your bill, you can pay for it before. But if you wait for your bill, don't pay the minimum. What would you recommend would be the amount in order to... Okay. Because, okay, if you buy something for $100, right? and you wait for the statement, and you only pay the minimum, it's gonna take you like 6 months before you can even pay that
Right,
$100. How much should we be paying over the minimum amount required?
So in a perfect world, it would be paying what you used.
Mm-hmm.
It would be paying what you use. And now credit card companies are required to be better transparent. So when you get your statements, you see if you pay the minimum, this is how much it's going to take you to pay it off. If you pay this much, this is how much it's going to take you to pay it off. I don't know if you've seen that section on the credit card.
Sometimes.
or you just throw it away.
It's just like, okay, I know.
But you really want to understand, what is your statement due? What is your statement date? And it's on the statement. What's your statement date? And then it's going to say, what's your due date? So those are two different things. When you you can always put, if you're able to, and I'm being realistic because we can't always pay it off, right? And like you said, sometimes we use it because, we don't have it. And a lot of people do that, but you have to be very mindful of that you don't overspend to where you can't pay it back completely. Mm-hmm. Now let's say like you said, you used $100 and you're going to make the payment. Or what would it be? You'd want to pay that $100 off, but if you can, put as much as you can over the minimum payment to get that down. Break it up in 2, break it up in 3, however you can, and pay it over that, so you don't have that lingering balance going over month to month.
Because a piece of gum that was, $1 winds up being
now,
10.
It will give you a payment history, mm-hmm. but how you use your money, it goes into the algorithm of how your credit score, what produces your credit score, and like I said, the payment history, your credit usage, your credit mix, which is the variations of credit you have. Like, do you have a credit card? Have you had a loan? Student loans, automobile, mortgage. Lenders like to look that you're able to manage different types of loans or credit. They like to look at that, and if you had a good history with all of them, then the risk of them lending you money is lowered.
That's a lot to think about.
It is, but that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
Right. So on your Facebook, and I think you had mentioned it in your introduction, you actually educate.
Right. So that is one of the things that I love to do when somebody comes into my program. It's not about me just... People get the conception of the preconception of credit repair company. Oh, I'm just going to delete all of these credit negative items from your report and boom, we're done. No. If you hear people or credit repair companies say, oh, I'll get this wiped out in 30 days, 45 days, that's actually not a best practice tactic. It's not a good tactic, because you cannot, as a credit repair company, by law, you can never guarantee results. And you can never guarantee that you're going to go in and delete, and you can never guarantee that you're actually going to improve the credit score. Right. Now, doing things a certain way and handling your credit and management a good way may help improve, and from what I've seen, does help improve your credit score. But it is a process. It does take time. Mm-hmm. Just like other things in life, we gain weight or things like that, and it takes time to lose it. We can't lose it.
Right. I wish.
It's the same thing. If we're working on saving up for a home or saving up for a car, it's a process. It takes time. And what I like to do is, first thing I like to do is do a credit analysis with my clients. I pull their credit report and we talk about, I go through the credit report with them. Mm-hmm. I tell them, this is what your credit report looks like. This is the information that's on your credit report. These are the things that you want to look at. These are the things you want to look out for. And then we start talking about the different accounts. If there's good accounts, or if there's accounts that maybe they can improve their behavior, we talk about that. If there's negative accounts, we look at, are there any inaccuracies? Are there errors with reporting? Because by law, companies have to report accurate information, and if any of that information is not accurate, then we have a right to dispute that. So that's where my dispute services come in. We dispute inaccuracies.
Mm-hmm.
And during that inaccuracy process, if they cannot verify the information correctly and update that information, then by law one of the things they have to do is delete it.
So when would you recommend someone actually consider credit repair? Does it have to be like where you're already getting tons of mail saying that you're delinquent? When is the best time to go?
I would say at any time. So one of the things that I do offer is if you just want to learn and you want to understand it a little better, then I offer a free consultation and analysis. So we can pull your credit report. I can look it over with you. We can talk about it. I can give you advice, and then you take that and work with that. Of course, on my page, on my Creating Quantum Solutions page, I do my best to update and provide a lot of information on credit tips and information there. Mm-hmm. The CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, if you have time, has lots of information on there when it comes to credit reporting, and they also have sample dispute letters there as well.
Oh,
that
nice.
that consumers can use. There's not a lot of people know that, and not a lot of people have the research or time to do that.
Right.
But I can give you that information, and I don't mind giving free information. I want people to learn how to do it themselves, but I understand a lot of people are like, I'll learn and I want to learn, but I don't have the time.
And
that's
the language that they use, the language that they use too, is just so confusing.
Yes.
And I don't understand a lot of the things like herein and this means, and it's a lot. So
yeah, and the information can be very confusing, especially if you're not familiar with it. Mm-hmm. And me being in the industry for so long, sometimes I still get frustrated. I'm like, why would they say this and not this, or just be clear? And why do they make things so complicated? So I totally understand. But a lot of information out there is free. Anybody can repair their credit on their own. But like I said, it just takes the research and time. A lot, and some people, I've had people that are like, hey, just tell me what to do, mm-hmm. or can you give me advice? I'll give them advice. And then there's people who are like, maybe they have one negative account, maybe they have 3, 4, 5. I've had people with 100 pages of stuff, and we've had to go through everything.
Uh-huh.
And I had to reel them in and say, you should not have 500 inquiries, 1 year. I'm being dramatic. But, there's just so many things that people get carried away with credit, or they apply for credit online and they don't get approved, and then they go in person and apply. If you get denied, you get denied. You want to be comfortable with where you are, and that means knowing what your credit looks like and understanding that a lot of companies, if you have anything under 620 or under, it's very risky. Mm-hmm. The companies, most likely, it's going to be a little chance of you getting approved, unless there's companies that, some companies, and again, it may take a little bit of research to see what companies are okay approving the lower scores. And there are some companies out there. There's also credit builder cards. There's a lot of things out there, but again, it takes a lot of research.
What is the average credit score, and what is a really good credit score?
Well, I've seen Experian, something I had read with Experian a while back. They talked about the average credit score of 680, but that's within the whole U.S., because from what I've seen, a lot of people average that I've worked with are in the 500s. Are in the 500s. And what I like to do, if we can get you over a 680 into the 700s, that puts you in a really good position. So when you do need credit, you have that available to you. Now, one of the problems I do get sometimes too is when people start seeing their score improve, they want to go apply everywhere, which can be very tempting. And it's also a reason why people get scared of having credit cards, because they're not sure how to use them or how they should use them. But just like, again, I'm going to go back to finances and fitness and things like that. We have to keep ourselves disciplined. We have to. We know we have the $500 limit here. We want to go buy that game or that jewelry or something.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas. Now, I do put some tips on how to avoid getting yourself in a lot of debt over Christmas.
I need to go look at that one.
Yeah, but it does take discipline, and there's a credit management best practices, and if you learn it and you understand it, sometimes you can splurge a little, but then you know how to get it back in order.
Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, Christmas is coming. I need to do that.
Christmas is coming.
But after Christmas is tax season.
Right.
Ugh.
So after Christmas, after you've maxed out your cards, or you know, you've overspent and put yourself in debt. The next thing people want to do is, I want my taxes. I want that refund.
I need that refund to pay my credit card.
To pay my credit card off. Tax season is a good time when you do have that refund to invest in yourself. So if you're not in a good position right now with your credit, or let's say you're looking to get a house or you want to purchase that vehicle, invest some of that money in your credit education and repair process. Get you in a good position to have a better financial pathway through the year.
And you help with taxes as well, right?
Yeah, I help with taxes as well, tax preparation. I do individual taxes, and I do small businesses and entrepreneurs.
That was my next question. Oh my gosh, because I've done the business side of taxes, and it can get pretty confusing between what was the sales tax to the franchise tax to end of every quarter tax. Oh my gosh, it was a lot. It was a lot. So you do both.
Yeah, so I do tax preparation. I mainly do tax preparation and help people file, but I also help with spreadsheets and things like that. So if people they don't have anything, because I do have clients that they don't know how to manage their expenses and income and everything, that those financials throughout the year. So I'll help them with guiding them on how to better organize that for them.
You know, I've always thought, and this is not even in what we were talking, but it just came to me. I've always thought that, like, in the high school, at least in high school, they should teach you how to budget, you know? So that way when you go out to the real life and then colleges start bombarding you with credit cards, and then you finally get your first job and then you got to do your taxes, at least you would know a little bit of something.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because in high school I had a cooking class. We just baked. But if I would have learned how to better manage budget, I think there might be some classes like that. I know my son, he's in high school, and I moved him out of an art class, because he was in art class last year, and moved him into a money management class. And I just think it's something that all kids need. Let's put our kids on the right path. And it's never too late to learn and get yourself on the right track. But yeah, I definitely agree. At the same time, a lot of people say, well, it's not the responsibility of the school, it's the parents' responsibility. But you know, I didn't have, I mean, unfortunately, my mother, she needed my help to help with taxes. She needed my help to help her read and things like that. So I didn't have anybody pouring into me. Now I can pour into my kids and I can pour into others, which I'm thankful for that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show my age. Back when I went to school, we had home ec. And I think we did home ec and then they took it off. But I got like maybe one semester of it. So I'm not that old. I'm old, okay? But home ec really helped you at least to budget, like, okay, so your home is bringing this much in, and you need groceries, or you're going to cook for a family of so much. you know, even though now I can see the misogyny in that, but it was very good information, at least some kind of foundation as to how to budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that would be good for either male or female.
I would have rather learned about managing a checking account or bank account
yes
than caring for an egg for like a weekend. And how to bring it back because we had in my life, I think it was called Life something. We made sweaters. We did like had those, I don't know, markers or whatever to draw Santa for the holidays on these sweaters. And then we had to take care of a baby, which was an egg. And
oh, my kids did a sack of flour.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, my kids had to take like a 2-pound sack of flour
and carry it around. I remember my egg. It was a little egg, and her name was Jessica. I still remember that. And I mean, I'd rather have learned something that.
Right.
Now, again, coming from my family, if you're like my family, my siblings were having kids when they were 15, 16. So I already knew how to take care of babies. I was babysitting like at 10 years old because they were already having kids. So I didn't need an egg. I needed to learn finances.
No, in the Hispanic community, when you're a babysitting age, you're tia, and here.
I think like 5, 6 years old, you're like, oh, you can babysit.
Yeah, like I'm gonna leave the kids with you. You're in charge. I gotta go to the grocery store. And so we've got that down pat. Money is something that's super important for us to learn how to manage.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And so I love that you do the education of it. I love that you help with the taxes. And as a former business owner myself, having to do that LLC was super complicated for somebody like me. For some of y'all probably breezed through it, but it is difficult, and you help with that too.
Mm-hmm. I help with that too. Now the good thing is in the state of Texas. Before, when I had to establish my LLC, it was all mail and fax. Now they have a SOS upload where you can go in and you can file your information easily as long as you have an account. So I help with that too. I help you set up an account with the SOS Secretary of State, and then I can guide you through the process. Or again, if you want me to do it for you, I can do it for you.
Because I know they have the stuff online. They have the website. They have that portal thing or whatever. But I had a really hard time navigating it.
Yeah, because you got to find what form do you need to file. And then the forms, they'll have some instructions on there, and they'll refer to this or that, and you have to know where to go. And then not always the facts, the frequently asked questions have what you're looking for. So yeah, it can be a little bit challenging to navigate. But yes, I make it really easy to file your LLC, and I don't charge like $800,000 for it either, which is an arm and a leg because the state filing fee to file your LLC is $300. Unless you have a waiver because of a military status, you can get that waived. But other than that, $300. And as a new business owner, a new entrepreneur, they might not always have that money to get started.
Right.
So when you're charging $300 for state filing fee and on top of another service fee of like $1,000, $1,200.
Yeah, and you have to have all that done before you can even start running. Yeah. So that is great. I'm so glad that you offer that because it is not easy.
Yeah, and I also guide on, I do provide a compliance checklist which tells you, okay, here's your LLC information. Make sure you keep your Secretary of State account information in case you need it. I provide dates as far as when the annual reports are due, because once you have a LLC, you have some annual reporting requirements. I provide you that when that information is due, and now with the new beneficial ownership information reporting that's required this year, I talk about that as well. and just anything that's required of an LLC. I have a whole checklist for that.
So your business is pretty much a one-stop shop.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just everything you can possibly, from the beginning to the end,
Yeah.
you help with.
And anybody, you can always, I have clients that I help them establish their LLC. Now, I can help you with your annual reporting, and I send out reminders like, hey, your annual reporting is going to be due soon. If you want me to do that for you, of course I can do that. Or if you want to do it yourself. Because some people might say, oh, well, yeah, it's easy for me to do it. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, a one-stop shop. And I always have clients, even if they're at a dealership and they have a question on credit, they'll text me and say, hey, what do you think about this? So I like to be that person in your back pocket where
I
that
love
resource.
that.
I like to be
Yeah.
that resource for you because I am a small business owner, and a lot of things that I've learned and built within my business, I've done a lot of it myself because sometimes you just can't find a lot of support or people that are willing to uplift you and support you.
Exactly. Sometimes you try and find a mentor business, even around the community, and a lot of either they don't have time or they're like, hey, I had to learn on my own.
So you gotta, so anytime I can pour into others, I'm happy to do so.
So it's like, no more excuses, guys. You want to start your business, you can.
You want to start your LLC? Let me know. You want to get your taxes in order? Let me know. You want to get your credit repair in the right track? Let me know.
Okay, so how do we get a hold of you? Everything. Social media platforms? What's the best way?
So multiple ways you can get a hold of me. You can text me or call me 210-778-9560. You can email me at linda@creatingqsolutions.com. You can find me on Facebook, Creating Quantum Solutions, or also my professional mode Facebook page under Linda Medina. And I'm also a board member for Women Unlimited. I'm in there as well. So if you don't know what that is, you should follow as well. But those are all the places that you can find me. So email linda@creatingquantumsolutions.com. Phone number 210-778-9560. Social media, Creating Quantum Solutions.
And as always, guys, if you didn't get that, I will have it in the description box, no problem. And I probably already put her email down here on the screen for all of y'all. Please go ahead and get a hold of Linda.
Yeah.
One-stop shop.
I do offer free consultations.
Yes.
So there's really, if you want to just learn more about me, learn more what I do, schedule an appointment for a free consultation and let's talk about it and see if I'm the right person that you need to help you get where you need to go.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah. And I'm okay if they decide that I'm not, my services are not, I'm totally fine with that. It's no hard feelings, and I always understand. But I'm okay with that. But I'm always here.
That's what. Thank you, Linda, for all of this. This was so great. I'm so glad that you agreed to come on here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so another great episode. I love this. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. I really, really appreciate it. But you know what can help me? You really want to help me, please? Give me a like and a subscribe. And again, if you know somebody or you yourself have a small business and would like a spotlight on your small business, contact me. Email me at smallbizspotlight210@gmail.com. I will also have that in the description box. Okay, so next week episode is another Women Unlimited. Yes. Is Rhonda Short. We will be having her, and you don't want to miss that, especially if you're 50 and up, because she has, oh my God, it's going to be great, a mature diva travel. So if you've ever been interested in traveling, but you don't want to go ziplining, you know, watch next episode because Rhonda will have everything for you. So with that, let's make a difference together by thinking big and shopping small. Okay, guys? Thank you so much. Y'all have a great Thursday. Y'all have a great weekend. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Thank you.